Another thing I like to implement is called Lewin's change theory. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically it has 3 phases. The first phase is I tell people to think of it as an ice cube, right? So you have a giant ice cube and it's a square and you want to make it a circle or a cylinder, as my 7-year-old would say. You're going from a cube to a cylinder. So with that, you go through 3 phases. So the first phase is unfreeze. In that unfreeze phase, you're melting the ice cube, you're turning it into water. And for your business, what that looks like is you're talking to people, you're understanding what changes need to be made, and you're implementing those changes. The next phase is to sorry, change. So the change. So you're putting it into the shape that you want it to be. So you're going from a cube to a cylinder, you're putting it into a cylinder shaped container. And then the final phase is to refreeze. So you're solidifying what those changes are. You're making it ice again. And from that phase, you're making sure that you're communicating a lot with your employees about why the change needs to happen, how they benefit from the change, because that's a lot of people's question, what's in it for me. So making sure that you're clearly communicating that what their benefit is and how they can benefit. And then I like to implement rewards. So bribery works, as I like to say. So rewards for implementing the change or demonstrating what that change needs to be is also important in that whole process.
Nice. As you was telling the story, I thought about a situation that I had with another company that I was consulting with, and let's just call her Barbara. Barbara was the seasoned employee, and she's been there years, totally ride or die. The person that he could depend on. And when they were transitioning from cash registers to POS's, point of sales, of course, the digital, total resistance from her. And he was like, he could not understand like what was the problem. And he's like, these are going to be more efficient because you don't have to clock in. You can do everything. I can monitor time. I can print out, transactions on an hourly basis. So the POS is technology